thanks for joining me. This is going to be a relatively short video today. This is a continuation of the installation of that Momo steering wheel that I did a short while ago. I had a problem at the end in that my steering column didn't have a perfect neutral running down it. It was intermittent depending on where the steering was angled and how far it was extended. And I asked for a little bit of help of what's the best way to run that neutral down the steering column and make sure it's continuously earthed. And I got the help from Mark on the 911 forum, so thank you very much. And it's a pretty straightforward solution. I'll show you exactly how I did it after this, but just behind the steering column where all of the mounting plate meets the back of that steering column, there is a bit of exposed metal where you can run a perfect earth. And that is part of the steering column that moves with the adjustment, so you're not going beyond that. So by earthing it right at the top there, you've got a nice perfect neutral the whole time. In doing that, I also noticed a slight intermittent contact with the positive feed coming through the metal brush plate, and I wouldn't have noticed that otherwise. I could hear a slight scratching sound, and my brush on the copper contact wasn't quite making a perfect contact the whole way around, so I just manipulated that slightly as well whilst I was there, and I've got a perfect horn now. I can honk to my heart's content. But this is how I did it. This is the solution to earthing the steering column. If you look at the steering column just behind it here, this is the metal part of the steering column, and you actually get a complete circuit between the steering column and here. Now the black is a coating on the column which completely isolates that column, and at the front here there is no coating. Now if you take the earthing wire out of the horn, which was previously just folded back, and you attach it to this bare metal, you have your earth. Now, quite rudimentary, I've just been testing it and it works, so I'm going to stick it down with some electrician's tape just for now, and if that is a permanent solution, then I'll find a more permanent method of putting a Jubilee clip around it and securing it with an eye bolt. And yeah, that'll be it, job done, happy days. The horn will be unstoppable. So a bit rudimental at the moment, but it is working with the cable just taped onto that part of exposed column, the outer sheath of the column. Yeah, it's working perfectly. And I've just tried it in multiple positions, pushing in, out, turning the steering, key on, key off. This seems to completely solve the issue. So yeah, the steering column had this intermittent grounding, and I think that's purely because of this super good coating on the outside of the column that stops it from earthing. It's extremely well earthed. But with that little bit of exposed column and the earthing cable on it, that's it, job done. So this is going to be the permanent fix. So just on the other side of the steering column, I know I've got a good earth. So Jubilee clip around that. I'm then going to have a little cable I made up from the rest of the clock spring wiring. Just a simple eyelet on one side and a bullet connector on the other. That will be clamped underneath this Jubilee clip around the shaft, so it's got a perfect neutral, and then I'm going to crimp onto the earth in the car. The other side of this bullet connector, connect the two together, and then I've got a nice permanent neutral going down the shaft. I've just crimped on the female bullet connector on the old horn neutral, which is coming out of the red block as it was before. Then on the back of the column, just behind where the column meets, I'm just going to put the Jubilee clip around here where I now got the perfect neutral, plug it back together, and then my permanent fix is done. And there is the Jubilee clip, my cable clamped underneath, and out it comes to the bullet connectors. Connect those two, and that's it, all done.